guys, welcome to our review of Sony Vegas Pro 12. Cue clap. Also, this is our 100th video.
Yay!
Yay! Also, we're doing a giveaway for our 100th video. Yay!
I don't know if you noticed this, but last year we made a video for Sony Vegas Pro 11 where we gave some tips and tricks of how we edit our videos with Sony Vegas Pro 11, and we did a giveaway. And we're doing that again, except for Sony Vegas Pro 12. I just want to say real quick that that video for Sony Vegas Pro 11 still applies to what we're going to teach you. So if you want to learn more stuff, you can view that video up here, click on it, and pretty much everything we said in that video will still apply to you for Sony Vegas Pro 12 because it didn't change too much, it just has new features. It's still a really good video to learn some new things, so go check it out. We're doing the giveaway because we have 2 copies of Sony Vegas Pro 12, so stay tuned to the end of the video to find out how you can get your own copy. We'll send it directly to your door.
Before we talk about the giveaway, we're going to show you guys some new features and tips and tricks that you can use in Sony Vegas Pro 12. To start, they've changed up the Explorer tab. If you'll notice, the Libraries option is here. If you actually use the libraries to store your documents, videos, pictures, and music, that'll make it more convenient for you. It just so happens that DJ and I don't usually do that. We make folders everywhere, like the desktop, wherever. We're very unorganized, so we just drag everything straight in from our folders. Also, they've made it to where these are thumbnails. Before, it used to be a list view. When you open up Sony Vegas Pro 12, it will be defaulted to the list view because that's how it was for us, so we're just assuming it's going to be defaulted to it. So if you go over here and click thumbnails, you'll be able to see the thumbnails. And if you hold control and use your scroll on your mouse, you can make those bigger or smaller. It'll make it easier to find your videos.
Another thing we notice about the interface in the Explorer tab is that it allows you to use these back and forward buttons. Before, I believe they weren't there. All you had was this move up one level button. But now you could do something similar to navigating in a internet browser. Say I go to this folder right here, I hit back, it'll jump me back to the folder I was at previously. Or if I go here to here, and hit back, and hit forward, it'll push me back. It's just like you're browsing web pages. So that's pretty interesting, and it could definitely help you find folders quicker and navigate through all of your folders much quicker. Now I'm going to show you really quick some of the cool visual aspects of the interface that they're changing that makes organizing your clips in the timeline much easier, and you could just really see what you're editing more than ever. I'll just take a clip right here and drag it in, and it's going to ask me, do you want to set your project video settings to match this media? And I don't remember Vegas Pro 11 ever doing that, but I'm thinking that might just be because I might have checked this off to say never do that again. I'm going to hit yes. Now oh man, look at that. It glows. It's just like, hey, what up? You just brought me into this timeline, and this is the clip that you brought in. So, I mean, it's nice that they're telling me that because now I know. Before I didn't. Also, when you hover over these, you see this little tiny little dot in the middle. It's not really a dot. It's kind of like a LED if this were real life. It's basically saying, hey, you're hovering over the audio, or hey, you're hovering over the video. That's also a cool feature. When you click on it, it's yellow. Doesn't glow like when you're bringing it in, but it's still yellow, so you know what you're clicked on. And that in itself is just definitely helpful, and they're definitely growing as far as the visual aspect of Vegas Pro. Alright, now here's another cool feature that makes things a lot easier. It's kind of simple, but it'll make things a lot quicker for a lot of people. And I'm going to bring the clips in differently. I know Sabrina just showed you all the cool features of the project media and the Explorer, but I'm going to do it the way that we usually do it, which is we just have a folder open somewhere, and then we just take the clips and just drag them in right into the timeline usually. And yes, I want to match it to the project. Oh, I love that glowing. Oh man, it's so nice. It only glue at the end because it's like, oh hey, this is the last clip out of all of them you just dragged in. So I guess that's interesting. But anyways, as you can see now, I have all these clips in the project media. And before, with Vegas Pro 11, you were able to click on one clip, right click it, go to properties, and you could change these things such as the alpha channel, the field order, color space, etc, etc. I usually wouldn't touch this stuff, but there's definitely reason why you might have to. I just haven't figured that out yet. But now you could highlight all of these or do the whole shift click and click the other one, or Control and just choose a few. It doesn't matter. Whatever you do, when you select all of them and go to right click and go to properties just like before, now anything you change in here is going to change for all of these. For instance, I'll change progressive scan to upper field first. Hit OK. And now you'll notice when I go to this, upper field first. When I go to this, upper field first. Now I'm like, wait, that's stupid. Why would I want upper field first? I want progressive scan because that's what I freaking shot it in. And as you can see, it's progressive scan. So you can edit all of them at once. And that's pretty awesome for those of you that actually want to do this. And it's just one of those little things that makes Vegas Pro even better than ever. Alright guys, here's a new feature that gives you a smart proxy workflow. That's something I've never really heard of before, but it's actually quite awesome. It's not going to really be beneficial to me or Sabrina because we have a pretty high-end computer that we built ourselves with a nice CPU and a graphics card, NVIDIA graphics card, with a lot of CUDA cores, and the CUDA cores make editing really fast. As you could probably tell in the previous tutorial we did with Vegas Pro 11, we basically explained how quick it is when you're editing with CUDA cores and how smooth everything is. But for those of you who aren't that lucky to have a computer as awesome as ours and or a graphics card with that many CUDA cores, Vegas Pro 12 might be very helpful for you because they gave you a feature that allows you to pretty much take anything in your project media and turn it into a clip that Vegas Pro can read very smoothly, and it's probably one of the best clip that you could possibly edit with right here in the timeline, and it allows editing to be much smoother even on lower end computers, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. So say I want all these clips to be easily editable, if that's a word. I highlight them, I right click, and now I go to create video proxy. You're going to see down here, you see a little thing going on. I just pulled up my toolbar there because I have it automatic. But you see down here it's loading because right now it's creating the proxy clips for these. It says a video proxy file is being built. You can cancel this operation by clicking the cancel button on the left side of the status bar. Creating video proxy files for certain compressed media formats dramatically increases speed and performance. And that's what we want, even though I don't really need it right now for my GPU acceleration, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And as you can see, it says 1 of 4, so it's doing them one at a time and it's creating the proxy files. And once that's done, when I bring these in, I'm going to be editing with the best file possible for smooth playback and editing. And that's awesome, because especially if you get these huge projects going on with a lot of files and a lot of videos, it's good to have these proxy clips to give you a smoother playback. I might even end up using it if my graphics cards slowly can't handle one of our huge projects, if we ever get a project big enough, but I doubt that's going to happen. Now, the cool part about this is after you're done editing and your project's done with all these proxy clips, when you go to export, you go to File, Export, you're actually going to be exporting using the source file, not the proxy clip, because the proxy clip's sort of a lower quality version, just to give you a nice preview when you're playing back. But it actually uses the original clip that you created the proxy clip with, so that way the export is of the highest quality possible. Since they're the same length and they're the same video, it's going to look the same, it's just going to be higher quality. So that's awesome that it references the original clip rather than the proxy clip. So you're not going to be compressing a compressed clip. You're going to be compressing the clip that was originally shot. So that's another new cool feature with Vegas Pro 12 that a lot of people are going to be using.
So this next thing I'm going to show you is a really cool plugin called Layer Dimensionality. It works best with text or alpha transparency layers. It's kind of reminiscent of the blending mode in Photoshop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a solid color from media generators. I like white because I like putting white text on white because I think it looks really, really cool. And I usually use the Prototype Tiler, and I like the centered one. So I'm going to grab that. What should I say, DJ?
Subscribe to TeraBrite.
Subscribe. I can't write. Subscribe. Subscribe to TeraBrite.
No, I don't want it subscribe. I want it subscribing, not subscribing.
Subscribe to TeraBrite. Alright, so I'm going to go put this plugin on here. So you're going to go over here, and you're going to click on this. Not that. You're going to click on this. That's the effects button. Sometimes I click the wrong one. It's right here. It's called Sony Layer Dimensionality. I'm going to push OK. And what you can do is you can mess with all these. There's also a bunch of presets that look really cool. Let's show you what they look like, first of all. So here's one with a drop shadow with inner glow, drop shadow with downlight. I mean, these look pretty cool, don't they? I mean, you can go in here. I don't really like the red. I don't know why there's red, but that's this. There's blur, opacity. The glow has. You could change the edge of it, the amount, the color. I don't like that color. That's a weird color. Emboss, yeah, you guys get the gist of it. I think it's a pretty freaking sweet plugin, so I'm probably going to be using that a lot.
Alright, now I'm going to show you guys another new feature in Vegas Pro 12 that's just making the Vegas Pro line just even better, giving them more features and just making the capabilities of editing even more better than any other freaking editing software there is. Although, however, I do prefer this type of editing. Now with Vegas Pro 12, you can switch to an A/B roll view for editing right here in the timeline. I'll just show you that right now, and to do that, all you have to do is double click on an editing point such as this, or this, or this, and I'm assuming that that's what the editing points are. There might be other editing points, but that's the one that I've found that works. You go to it, just double click, and now we're in an A/B roll. To get out of it, you just double click again. Now I just want to show you guys real quick, if you take this clip and drag it over, it automatically creates a fade here, which is a flash, because I just had a flash on there. So this is my second time showing you this, but you don't know that. If you drag it over, it automatically creates a fade. That's what it would do, a little crossfade. So now if I go into the A/B roll now, you'll see that the transition is there in this little transition area. This is A, this is B, and here's the title, which Sabrina clearly spelt correctly. Subscribe to TeraBrite. It's fantastic. So as you can see, the transition area, if anyone's edited an A/B, this is pretty much very familiar to you. You probably recognize this little transition area with the on top and bottom, rather than the standard Vegas workflow where everything's on one track and the fade is right there. And you could go into there and go to the transition properties and add a flash, just like I did before, which you didn't see because this is my second time doing it, as I'm saying again. I'm just telling you guys all my flaws right up front. I'm just giving it just like it is. And now the flash is there. As you see, it says flash. So if I were to play it back, you would see a flash transition, a very, very slow flash transition, but nevertheless a flash transition where you should subscribe to TeraBrite. And you could take this and you could drag it in, make the flash quicker, and the flash is quicker. And some of you might actually like using the A/B editing, A/B roll editing, but I still prefer this. However, it's definitely cool and I welcome the change. Now, one of the best parts about Sony Vegas Pro is its efficiency in editing, and how editing is just so easy and quick and faster than pretty much any other editing program, simply because it has short keys that are only in Vegas, really. I'm sure you could set them up in other programs, but these come with Vegas, and it's just very simple. Like, for instance, the split. By pressing S, you split a clip. I showed you that in the Vegas Pro 11 tutorial, and I also showed you how you could use the split short key to do jump cuts very easily just by looking at the audio waves and cutting out the silence. So now Vegas Pro 12 took it to a whole nother level. If you right click, you can see that yes, the split short key is here. They give you the short keys right up front when you right click stuff. It says split S, and that does work, but now they have two new ones here that were never there before. Trim end, which is Alt bracket, the left bracket, and trim start, which is Alt plus the right bracket. Okay, and this is going to make things much easier. Before, I would have to hit S to split it and then delete, but I can Control Z that and show you a quicker way that you could do it now. Hold Alt and then press left bracket, and that automatically deletes it. It cuts it and it deletes it. Or if you want to do the opposite, hold Alt and press right bracket, and it deletes everything on the right. So that's another really cool shortcut that you could use in Vegas, and it's all about the shortcuts in Vegas, and that's part of the reason why Vegas is so fast, aside from the fact that the GPU acceleration is just ridiculous and everything else is fast. It's just in general, Vegas is just made to be fast, and coming up with stuff like this just makes it even better. So that's another awesome thing. Now, a lot of the changes that are going on with Vegas Pro 12 seem to be based around organization, which makes editing much faster if you think about it. It's all about organization and speed, and if you could organize your clips quicker, then you could find your clips quicker, and it just makes things much easier. Right here, we have some clips in our project media, and they're all just here. I mean, I don't have that many clips, but if you have a lot of clips, it could get very confusing, and you just want to find something quickly. Now, any of these clips, I could click on them and hit the play button, and and play it, or I could set this, which is auto preview, and any clip I click on will start playing automatically. That's kind of annoying to me sometimes, so I'm just gonna set it normally and then play the ones I want to see. So let's see. Let's play this one real quick. I said we're shooting home movies. This is obviously a joke. We shot all this so I could have footage to edit for this video. So let's just say this is a home movie. We're not professional at all. We're just here to make some freaking home movies. I have a lot of home movies, even though you only see 3 here. Just pretend I have a lot of home movies. I want to put this in a folder called home movies. So I'm going to click over here and type home movies. This is the tag area. And hit enter. And that just created a tag called home movies. But you might also notice that over here, it created a folder called tags and a folder inside the folder called tags called home movies. Alright? And my clip is in there. Okay, now if I go back to all media, let's say that this is also a home movie. So I'm going to go here, add tags, and type home movies, enter. And now that is also tagged as a home movie, and here it is in the same folder. And that is pretty awesome because it just instantly categorizes them together. Now let's go back to all media and say that not only is this a home movie, but it's a part of TeraBrite, okay? It's a TeraBrite video. So I'm going to type TeraBrite and hit enter. And here you go. A new folder called TeraBrite. So not only is this file in the TeraBrite folder, but it's also in the home movies folder. So it's just a nice way to organize your stuff. Now I'm going to go back and you can see little X marks next to this. So what if I was like, never mind, I don't want this to be in the TeraBrite folder anymore. I'm just going to hit X. The TeraBrite folder disappears. It's no longer there because there's no clips that have a TeraBrite tag on them. And I'm going to say, okay, I don't want this to be home movies anymore. Close that. It didn't go away because there's still one more clip in home movies. That's this one. Delete it. It's gone. All you have left is the tag folder with no folders inside of it because nothing has tags on them. But it just shows you if you have a lot of clips and you just want to start tagging them all together, you could do that. Another cool thing, if you highlight more than one clip and go in here and type tags, type home movies, hit enter. Now both of these clips are going to be in there. So you could do that, and you could use any of the other shortcuts, any of the normal Windows shortcuts by holding shift, collecting them by dragging like that, or by holding control and selecting just a few and then typing in the tag, and it all works together just the same way. So it's just really a really quick way to organize your clips so you can find them quicker. Now for some more organizational stuff that makes Vegas Pro 12 even better. I think the first part that I'm going to show you is actually something that you could have done in Vegas Pro 11 and 10, probably even earlier. But as you can see, I have a lot of clips here. It's pretty cluttered. I just dragged a bunch of clips in here just to make it look really cluttered for you. It's all over here in my project media. If I want to find one of these clips in here and I'm lost and I'm like, crap, where's that clip? I'm like, I want to find this clip, right? So I right click it and I go to select timeline events. I click on it and it shows up, okay? I could do that with more than one clip and use pretty much the same shortcuts I've been doing for a lot of these things I've been showing you. Hold shift or hold control or drag. So I'm just going to select some random ones. Alright, there, I just selected a bunch of random ones. I'm going to right click one of them and go to the same thing where select timeline events. And now it highlighted those in the timeline. All these ones I had selected, now they are highlighted in the timeline so I can see where they are. And if I wanted to toggle between them, now instead of holding Alt and doing bracket like I did before with the cutting, here's another new shortcut. Hold Control and do either right or left bracket, and it sticks the cursor right where it is. It sticks right at the beginning of each clip, and I could toggle between them and see, okay, this clip, here's the beginning of that clip, here's the beginning of that clip, blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. And that's just a quick way to jump around your project and find things that are lost, especially if you get these really huge projects with just a lot of footage. It helps you find your footage quicker. So out of all the new features in Vegas Pro 12, this is easily the most excited I have ever been about all of the new features. If this was the only new feature in Vegas Pro 12, I would buy Vegas Pro 12 just because of this one new feature. That's how awesome it is. I'm so excited about this feature. I can't tell you how many times I have done a full-on video shoot where there's just a couple clips where the color balance wasn't quite where it needed to be, and it just didn't look good when I was going to edit, and up against all the other clips, it just stood out like a sore thumb. It was just obvious that the color was not right. So I go in and I add a bunch of color correction stuff and I just mess with it until it looks decent and close to right, but I never actually get it close enough to where I want it to be. Well, with Vegas Pro 12, it gives you the ability to actually take a clip that does have good color balance and the color is right and match it up with something that doesn't. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. It's called color match, and the first step to doing this is finding the clip here in your project media that you want the color to look like for the clip. Because as you can see right here, I have a clip that doesn't look very good because the color balance is just terrible. But this was really just us setting up. Sabrina was framing the shot and she wasn't worrying about the color balance quite yet. And as you can see here, we eventually got the color balance correct. But it's perfect for this example. So the first step here is finding the clip that you want, right-clicking it and going open in trimmer. So here is the color that I want this clip to look like. And I'm going to go here to the event effects. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go to color match. I'll double click it for you guys and then go to OK. And now as you can see, color match is now on this clip. But it's not matching up with anything yet. So I have a few options here. I have use trimmer image, which is this. I have paste from clipboard. I have browse for image, which would let me browse for the image on my computer. And I have clip from screen. So I'm going to go to use trimmer images, which is why I have this clip here in the trimmer. Click. And instantly you will see the color is very, very, very close. And you have some options here to mess around and fade it in from the closest possible to the original. And you also have this process lightness, which brings it pretty close to where I want it to be. And that's just, it's very cool that you could just instantly get it really, really close. But this is an extreme example. It's not very often that your color is going to be that off, but this really gets you the closest possible to matching up the color. And I'm sure you could do some other things to get it just right, but it just makes it much quicker to match the color from two different clips. And I find this feature extremely useful, and I'm going to be using it all the freaking time. I'm so excited for this, and it's just going to help us with our workflow so much. With Vegas Pro 12, they also included another event effects, which I'm going to add right now. It's called Lab Adjust. This uses the same technology that is used for the color match plugin that I just showed you, which you could use just in general to get the color on a clip, or you could use it to further change the color if you want to match a color even better, and it might help you out in that respect as well. So it gives you some parameters here. You got lightness, you got channel A, you got channel B, you got invert luminance, which makes it sort of look like a negative effect, and you got desaturate. And this could be a very powerful tool if you really mess with this stuff, but it also has some defaults. So I'm going to click on the first one and just hit down to toggle. I'm hitting down on my keyboard to toggle through the presets, and you could just see all the different presets you have here, which you could sort of just use as like an effect on your video. Now, I wouldn't exactly say these presets are really that great. I would use this more just to get the color right on something, and I would mess with these parameters myself and get it right. And obviously you can animate anything here. Pretty much with anything Sony. Any of these Sony plugins, you could animate them. And that's just another cool addition to the Sony effects lineup.
So this next feature is really, really awesome and useful for me. I used to have a lot of trouble blurring things out that weren't supposed to be in videos, such as this camera hog right here, taking up Lexi's video. She was making a video and she started crying, telling me, Sabrina, your boyfriend needs to get out of my video. And I was like, okay, I'll do it in Sony Vegas's new features. So I'll show you how to do that right now. If you go to the pan crop and you go to the mask tool, you'll see 3 new things. Apply to FX. That means you can now apply freaking mask. You can mask effects. That's what it means. Also, they've added these oval and rectangular creation tools, which is much easier than trying to draw it yourself. So now I'm going to take my camera hog boyfriend out of Lexi's video. I'm going to draw a little mask there. I'm going to go add a Gaussian blur. Okay, that's what it looks like right now because I haven't applied it to FX. You go over here and you click yes. Look, he's blurred. But of course it looks too rough and it looks fake and weird. I mean, it's always going to look fake, but you can go over here and mess with the feather inside, feather both, or feather outside. Now I'm going to mess with all of them. And I think that I think that looks pretty good right there. He's like one of those people who don't want to give their identities away. But we want to put all the focus on the dog. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to put all of the focus on Lexi here by using this button. See, look over here. I mean, maybe this is too big, you can modify it, but Lexi is the center of attention now. So, and I hope I make her happy with these new features, and I hope it makes everybody else happy who needs to blur things out.
Doesn't make me happy.
Yeah, because you're a camera hog.
Another one of the biggest features in Vegas Pro 12 is the fact that you could interchange projects from other different editing programs such as Premiere or Final Cut Pro to and from Vegas. Okay, and this is an awesome feature because it just allows you to create your workflow in a completely different manner, especially if you have Premiere or if you have After Effects or if you have Final Cut Pro on your Mac or something. It gives you the ability to just really move the projects around like it's nothing. And I'm going to show you that right now. So I actually own the whole Adobe CS6 suite with Premiere and After Effects. So I'm going to show you what it's like to export something from Vegas into Premiere and then export it from Premiere back into Vegas, just so you can see how easy it is. Alright, so here we have, this is one of our vlogs. We do daily vlogs on youtube.com/VleraBrite. It's edited and all the clips are still here, so this is perfect. I just want to make sure it's empty. There we go. So yeah, this is our vlog. We already exported this, so I thought it'd be a perfect example. It's a 10-minute and 31-second vlog, so we'll see how long it takes to export this as a Premiere project. So I'm going to go to File, I'm going to Export, and here is all your options. Obviously you have Pro Tools, so you can bring this into Pro Tools or Media Composer, Premiere/After Effects, which is the PROJ, sorry, Final Cut Pro 7 or DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro X, etc., etc. So even you people with Mac can export something from Vegas and open it up in your Final Cut Pro. So there you go. If you have a Mac and a PC, you're good. But as I said before, I'm going to be doing Premiere this time, so I'm going to export this as a Premiere, and I'm going to go to my desktop, make a new folder called Vegas to Premiere Test. Alright, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to hit save. Export media pool, sure. So what it's doing is it's moving the entire media pool moving the entire media pool of all the files that are in this vlog over into that folder, as well as the new project file that will be directly openable into Premiere Pro CS6, as well as probably other versions, but CS6 is what I have right now and it's what I've tested it with, so I know it works with CS6 for sure. So here we are. This is 15 of 17, 78%. Let's see how quickly it goes. So it's all happening. It's pretty quick if you ask me. It says 1 of 2. There's going to be another thing going on after this, but it moves pretty quick. These are a lot of files. Again, this is all 1080p, 23.976 frames per second footage. Although it does say 720p because this is 1080p footage. That's weird. Anyways, so it looks like it's done at this point. It did say that it ignored a couple things, but I mean, it's not going to be able to bring everything over. Ignored event groups. Yeah, there's some Vegas specific things that it's going to ignore, but that's expected. So here's the folder right here. I'm going to open it up, and as you can see, all the files are here, as well as this Photoshop thing, which is actually a lower third template that I talked about in our previous tutorial. And here is the Premiere project. So I'm just going to double click this, and it's going to open up right into Premiere Pro CS6. It's loading the project. Now here's all the files over here. It's still conforming over here, but I could bring up the timeline by coming down here to the sequence and double clicking. And here is the timeline for our vlog. And everything seems to be there. The vlog's there. Let's see what happens here. Everything's there. And I could edit it just like it was in Vegas, except right here in Premiere. So now I'm going to do the opposite. I'm just going to close out of here. I'm going to not save changes. I don't really care. I'm going to go back into Vegas and go to a new project and just open it up new. Now it's nice and clean. And now I'm going to go to File, import Premiere After Effects project, okay? And I'm just going to use the same one that I created with Vegas, because as you can see, it opened right up into Premiere. So this is a actual Premiere project. So if I could open up in Premiere normally, then I'm going to see what happens when I try to open it up in Vegas now. Let's see how that translates. Now everything looks a little bit weird, but that's expected as always. This is definitely a Premiere thing, but it's still all there and just as editable as before. So that just shows you how quickly you can go back and forth from editing program to editing program. And this will make it really easy to collaborate with people that have different editing programs. And it'll make it really easy for you if you have Premiere and After Effects like we do, because sometimes you just need a specific feature from Premiere or a specific feature from After Effects that you just can't get in Vegas. Although we use Vegas for pretty much everything. Everything starts and ends in Vegas that we do. It's just sometimes there's a feature that we need in Premiere, and it'd be nice to just bring the whole project over there, use that feature, and then bring it back into Vegas. And I think that's a really awesome feature that they added to Premiere Pro 12, and I'm definitely loving it. So although I briefly went over our export settings in our previous tutorial about Vegas Pro 11, it has changed a little bit, not really completely. We still use the same presets, but we have a second set of presets that we use sometimes. So I thought I would just go over again because we always get questions about how we export, and so I thought I'd just go over again so you guys could see our updated export settings. Also, you could see a small new feature that came out with Vegas Pro 12 as well. So here we are in our vlog, youtube.com/VleraBrite. I'm going to say that every time I edit in the vlog. It's a 10-minute and 31-second vlog. Again, we have CUDA cores, so that's nothing to us. It'll export in like 5 minutes, probably less. I'm going to go to File, Render As, and here we are. I might be repeating myself from the last tutorial, but we use the main concept AVC/AAC. The preset that we made is actually based off of this preset, Internet HD 1080p, with some small changes, and I saved it myself. This is the preset that we use. We call it VleraBrite Export for pretty much all of our vlogs, and for anything that we want to export quickly and have a smaller file size. So I'm going to go to custom template so you can check it out. Here we have 1080p 1920 by 1080, obviously. This is one of the changes we made. We changed it to 23.976 frames per second. I believe it was probably 30 frames per second before. I'm not entirely sure about that. And we changed this allow source to adjust frame rate. I'm not sure if that's going to be the same for Vegas Pro 12, but for Vegas Pro 11 it was automatically set at, this was checked off. And for some reason that just causes problems with me, so I unchecked it, and this is the frame rate I want, so I don't really need that. And then everything else here was pretty much the same. Now you might see a difference here for encode mode. Before there was like automatic and CPU only, and then CUDA only. But now you have render using OpenCL if available, render using CUDA if available, and render using CPU only. Now I'm not sure what the benefit of using OpenCL is, but I'm sure there is. But I know render using CUDA is the fastest there is for me using my setup, and it definitely is a lot quicker. However, when you use CPU only, the quality is a little bit better because for whatever reason when you export with CUDA, there are some very minor artifacts that show up in the footage and can be slightly annoying if you really like quality videos. And I'll explain more about that in a second. So I'm just going to go through the extra tabs so you can see what my settings are for my normal quality videos. So I keep CUDA on because, as I said, we have a video card with a lot of CUDA cores, an NVIDIA GTX 580 to be exact. So here I'm going to go to audio. These are audio settings, system, MP4, check GPU. CUDA is available. As I said, project, we set at the best. And here's a new thing here, color space. I'm not sure how this is useful, but I think it's useful for people that use a different camera other than what we use, which is all DSLRs. So you could figure out why this is useful. Let's Google it. I'm not sure, but it's a new feature, so you might want to look into that. And our high quality video settings that we use for our TeraBrite videos, or something that we just want to look really good, is this VleraBrite YouTube specs. Now I got these specs directly from a Google page that explained what the highest quality settings are for uploading to YouTube to get the best quality possible on your 1080p footage on YouTube. And it's the most recent one, most updated one. There were some in the past, but the most updated one has these specs as of today, at least. So I increased the maximum BPS to 5 million and the average to 25 million. So usually you want this to be half of that, is from what I understand. And it says 5 million is the highest. So I just made that 5 million, or 50 million, sorry, and made this 25 million, which is half of that. And I have this at 30 frames per second because our last video was 30 frames per second, but it really doesn't matter. You just want your frame rate to match what your footage was originally shot at. But usually we do 23 frames per second, so that's just a thing. It changes depending on the video when we're changing our settings. Down here, as you can see, this preset is set to render using CPU only because, as I said before, when you use CUDA, you get some artifacts. So we just wait a little bit longer for it to export, and we get that higher quality. As far as audio goes, there's a little bit of boost here too to get higher quality audio on YouTube, and this is the highest you can go. So take a look at that if you want to learn how to get the best audio for your videos. Same thing, blah blah blah, and best. Same, it's pretty much all the same. Just take a look at this, and you can set this to your project settings if you want. And then if you click save right here, you save it as a template, but you want to rename it, like call it like my export settings or something for high quality videos, and then you click this little save button, and then it'll show up in here just like we have ours. And then you have your own preset. So real quick, I'm just going to show you how quick it takes to export again using our normal exporting for VleraBrite and just normal vlogs using CUDA cores. So I'm going to click this, I'm going to hit render. And as you can see, it is going extremely fast. The frames are just flying, and it's going at least 50 times faster, not 50 times, at least 50% faster than the original when you're viewing it at normal speed. So it's definitely... But when this pops up, it slows down a little bit more. But then when it gets back into normal, which is footage without like graphics and stuff, it goes back to like 2 times or 3 times the speed of the original footage, which is awesome because then we don't have to wait too long to export our vlogs, and we just get right to uploading. And it's just about this fast even when I'm doing the high quality preset that you saw earlier. It's just the only problem is then the file is much bigger, and Google recommends to only use those presets if you have a fast internet connection, because it will take a long time to upload when you're using those high quality settings. But the settings I'm using right here, the low quality settings, definitely upload pretty quick on our internet. Even though we have very fast internet, it definitely is slow with the high quality one. So just a little warning, and I just thought I'd show you how fast it goes on our computer. As you can see, approximate time left 4 minutes. The vlog is actually a 10-minute long vlog, and it's only been exporting for 1 minute. So it is about 2 times faster than the actual duration of the video. So that's awesome, and that's one of the main reasons why we love Vegas. So there you go. That's our export settings.
So I really hope you guys enjoy the new features for Sony Vegas Pro 12. We like it a lot. We're excited to be using the new version of Sony Vegas. Make sure to thumbs up this video if you learned something, and if you want to win Sony Vegas Pro 12, because we're about to tell you how to do that right now.
So if you'd like to win this awesome editing software, all you have to do is leave a comment below telling us why you deserve Sony Vegas Pro 12, and we'll randomly choose one of you and send this to you.
But the person that we randomly pick has to be following the rules of telling us why they deserve Sony Vegas Pro 12, otherwise they are disqualified. Also, you can enter as many times as you would like. Until next time, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Until you export it and upload it to YouTube for everyone to see. Goodbye.
Really quickly.